Hey, welcome to the Homegirl Podcast. This is episode 4 on communications. Super excited to bring this to you, especially on the heels of last week's episode where we talked about managing difficult conversations and how we can improve our communication with our customers when the journey goes off course. I want to take this same concept and I want to make it broader for you guys and talk about communication as a whole, as a sales professional or a sales leader. We have a responsibility to make sure that we are using our time wisely, our customers' time wisely, and that we're helping facilitate decisions all the time. That's our number one job, right? Is we're here to help other people make a decision whether this works or it doesn't work, and how do we move forward from there. The best way for us to do that is with an exceptional set of communication skills. When I was new in home building, I was very eager to prove myself. I was fresh out of college. I had never bought a house before. And I was very concerned that these folks coming in wanting to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a home would not find me knowledgeable enough to assist them in this huge purchase in their life. So I made it a point to learn as much as I could. I took it all in. And we used to say training as a new hire was like being fed from a fire hose. I was like at that fire hose tap every day. And anything I learned, I felt the need to instantly regurgitate it to build my credibility and my expertise. And I would just word vomit on anybody that came to me, whether it be about features and finishes in a home or how to read blueprints. I actually remember like capturing this couple and making them like basically take my blueprint training course because I was so excited that I knew how to read them that I had to show them how I could like tell them how big their windows were and measure walls. It was kind of insane in hindsight, but I was just eager to share. But I was missing the magic part of communication, which is the art of being concise. So there are 3 C's to communication: being clear, concise, and confident. And I want to start with concise and how you can make sure that you know everything. I don't want to discredit knowledge. I think knowledge is really important. This industry is complicated, and it's good if you know the basics of construction and that you know how to read home sites and site plans and that you understand what your design center and lending processes are. You need to know all of that. But the art in being concise is only sharing what matters, saying the most important things in the fewest amount of words, getting to that end game faster and taking out all the fluff. I want to assure you, saying more words is not going to build your credibility. The art of saying more with fewer words is what's going to get you accolades in your customer's mind and help them like and trust you faster, because they can see that you respect their time and that you know your shit and that you're on it. Okay. So concise is huge. Let's talk about clear. I often watch and observe. I've seen a lot of role plays. As a trainer, I trained over 100 new hires. That's a lot of role play practicing, and it's insane. And I've watched a lot of tape of video shops, and I know what's happening in these customer interactions. The salesperson will say something totally random and out of sorts based on where the conversation is, because the salesperson is in the thought process of in their own mind of what they want to ask next and where they want this process to go. So the customer will be there talking about something like, I need 4 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms, and here's why. I know it's weird that I need as many bathrooms as bedrooms, but this is what's going on. But the salesperson is still hung on the fact that they said they needed a 3-car garage and we don't offer 3-car garages. So the conversation has kind of transferred in the customer's mind to now talking about beds and bathrooms. And then the salesperson will say something like, well, we don't offer 3-car garages, but how do you plan on using that space? Because maybe we could do a shed. Have you thought about a shed? Do you want a shed? Do you want to see? Let me look into my HOA docs about a shed. And now we're like on this whole other topic. It feels super confusing to the customer. So I want to encourage you to make sure that you are clear, that you are on task with what is being said in front of you. So in an effort to be clear, you need to be an active listener. I've also sat in meetings as a manager with leadership teams, and same thing happens, guys. The exact same thing happens. It's bonkers. I'm sitting in this room and one leader says something and it's really like, it's kind of disruptive, right? Like it's getting everybody's wheels turning. We want to talk about it, but there's not a platform to talk about it. The conversation transpires, and then some random person finally gets the courage to address this conversation, but they don't frame it to bring it back to it, or they don't say, hey, can we revisit that topic that we talked about earlier, they just kind of jump in and it's very confusing and it makes it hard for everybody to understand, well, wait, what are you talking about? We were on a totally different topic here and now we're shifting gears. So I want to make sure that you guys understand that being clear is a result of active listening and that you're connecting the dots appropriately. I know I'm also guilty of this in my personal life. So maybe I'm driving down the road, the whole family's in the car, and I'm thinking about our to-do list and everything else. And then I'll blurt out, so do you want to do that? And my husband will be like, do I want to do what? And I'm like, do you want to go get backpacks today? Like before we head home, finish up the school shopping. And he's like, Abby, you weren't talking. You were running a list in your head. I had no idea what you were talking about. So it's normal. It's so normal, guys, but be active listeners and make sure when it is your time to talk, you are clearly tying back to whatever's being said or use a reference to reframe why we're changing the conversation in the way that we are. So that's concise. That's clear. Let's talk about confidence. Okay. I want you to think of confidence as something not as being a big burly aggressive type person or being having some sort of swagger. I'm none of those things. But confidence comes from just knowing that you can be the resource that they need. Okay, confidence comes from the ability to say I don't know when you don't know, and then working really hard to get that answer as quickly as possible for your customer. Confidence comes from just trying. Okay. A lot of people say, I'm not a confident salesperson. I'm not a confident closer. I'm not a confident this or that, whatever that may be. But confidence follows courage and the courage to act. So if you feel like you're not a confident closer, what I need you to do is to go into more closing questions. Start asking closing questions more frequently because your confidence is not going to come until you work through all those little flubs and flips and saying weird things. This is why we highly encourage role play in new home sales, because it builds your confidence when you say something 2 or 3 times and you get used to the wording that you want to say and the responses that you hear, and you get that positive reinforcement when you ask a good question and you get negative reinforcement when you ask a bad question. So I want to remind you that your confidence actually will come from action and the courage to take that action. So be clear, be concise, be courageous to build your confidence. I hope you found this helpful in building your clear communication skills to level up not only as a salesperson, but as a sales leader. These are skills, like I said, I learned early in my career, and they carried me through all the way to where I am today. I hope you all found this helpful. Have a great rest of your week, and bye for now.